Hi guys, welcome to the channel of love. I've chosen the cards, but I've allowed the cards to choose the cards. I've got a really dry mouth. The Rider-Waite Tarot, check, got them. Oracle of the Fairies, check, got those. Archangel Animals, got those. Sacred Spirit reading cards. It's like I was giving you the middle thing, the middle finger. The middle thinker was coming through though. Okay, middle thinker. And the bottom of the deck is the ancient Italian tarot, and just by chance. Oh no, that's the wrong deck. I thought that was the ancient Italian tarot. That deck was just here. But then underneath appeared my name. So Lucy's Ancient Italian Tarot. Lucy's Box of Tricks, which I have here. Okay. Let's see where this reading takes us. Rider-Waite was first, Oracle of the Fairies was next, Archangel Animals, Sacred Spirit reading cards. What's the message, please? We'll finish off with the Ancient Italian Tarot. Hi Christine. Hello beautiful. Let me put my glasses on. Hello darling. Hi Laurie. Hi Lucy. Hope all is well. All is well darling. All is well. Had a good purge yesterday. It's like whatever that was, it done the trick. I mean the story that was coming through, the emotions, the feelings, there's evidence of that like all over the system, and all good. Especially this afternoon. This morning I still kind of reeling off of that energy. Last night it was kind of like, don't, like, you've put the energy out, just, you don't have to do anything physically. You know, it was that kind of energy where, you know, when you make up your mind, it's always made up first, isn't it, in the mind, and then you have to execute that. So let's say if you were like leaving a partner, so you've made the decision in your mind, or let's say a job, but partner's what really we're talking about. So you're leaving a partner and you've made up your mind that you don't, you know, want to do things the way that you're doing things. Made up in the mind first, and then you have to execute that. Well, you do if you live with the partner. You've got to have a conversation. But if you're not actually in physical contact with the partner, do you have to do anything physically? Or can you just withdraw energetically? Does that kind of make sense? So for me, I was feeling, well, does there have to be, I've made my mind up, so what is the physical thing? Like, that my ego was telling me needs to be done to make this final. I don't have to do anything physically. Personally, I don't have to do anything physically to it's energetic, isn't it? We know that, I was going to say like energy is stronger. Okay, I don't know where that's whatever. Hello lovelies, hello Mariah. Lovey, rest in. You have a ruptured disc? Oh my goodness. Lovey, I swear you're just falling apart. Does it feel like you're falling apart? I'm just thinking of all the different limbs and joints and you told me about. Okay, you've got this. Lovey, I did make up my mind once and for all to lose the weight. So I have lost 19 so far. I've got this. I didn't even see that you had that, that you had wrote that. Hello, Alex. Hello. Wishing you my regard from Sarawak, Malaysia. Hello. Okay. I read it first time, but thank you. Falling apart to fall in place. Yeah. Her card's fallen on the floor. Who's fallen on the floor? Okay, so the King of Cups. Now, Mr. King of Cups, I just by chance have a plan. Because I want to focus more on personal development, okay? On how we can develop ourselves. So, who are we talking about? The King of Cups. The King of Love. But it seems that he's fallen, okay? He's fallen to the ground. What we can tell by this card, just by looking at this card, it looks like but he wants to dip his toes into the water. And what's interesting is the card landed on my toes and I just have bare feet and I'm grounding myself with my toes into the ground. I've noticed, it's very noticeable, like it stood out that, okay, I'm barefoot and my toes are feeling like the carpet, and it's just nice to kind of, you know, squidge your toes a little bit and falling at your feet is coming through. I feel like this nose wants to run. It's all good. Okay. So, nose, running away from what your nose senses. You may have been smelling your counterpart's day. And I'm going to say that because Megan, I'm not sure she's home now, but she wasn't home when he got home. And he said, I've just gone into the bedroom and I can just smell Megan everywhere. And it's so lovely because I haven't seen her all day. I thought that was lovely. And then I've had another synchronicity that I've heard regarding smelling, liking the way that they smell. So we've got the King of Cups here. Hey, Cynthia. An orange transport play truck slammed down onto my toes. I was more intrigued about the fairies coming out after you've just posted that little video on Facebook. I've seen a fairy at work today. Well, I didn't, my colleague did. She went, what's this flying around? I said, oh, that's a fairy. She was like, oh yeah. Have them coming round to my way of being. It's more fun. It is so much more fun, isn't it, to live with the magic of the synchronicities and the imagination. Oh, anyway. Let's get back to this masculine. There's a ship going behind him, so I'm not sure if he feels as if maybe, you know, like he's missed his ship. But then there's a fish coming that way, a ship going that way. Meeting halfway. Okay, well, you have a cup. And you have, it looks like a torch. And you have a ring. But it's on your index finger, I believe. Oh no, it's on the middle finger. When I was dishing the cards and I was showing you, one of them, I had my middle finger up and I holding the card like that, and I felt like I was giving you the middle finger. This masculine feels as if like he's been given the middle finger. That's not the case, it's detachment. The feminine has plans. Whether you want to join her is up to you, but the feminine has plans. And she's no longer in a vibrational match with the toxicity that's surrounding. So it doesn't matter what, it's just not going to work. Like in that varying environments. So the energy of like not being afraid to dip your toe into the water, the sacred waters. Sorry, I was just getting back to Cynthia's message. So Cynthia, have you got my message yet? I sent you a message and a song. Like this was days ago when I said I would. I contacted you on Messenger. I keep checking to see. Just to say hi. Just so we've got that. I haven't been trying to call you. It's just like, you know. Hi, I heard this song and it reminded me to reach out. No, I feel that's good. I feel that's a request, Cynthia, that I personally am feeling fake. Like within the connection, because I've evolved and I'm a spiritual leader. I like to, that's how I like to think of myself and live my life, on spiritual basis. And then you have like the other half who's living a complete opposite. And so to kind of meet them there, I slip into like who I used to be and don't really disclose this part of me. Like, it's not free flowing like this. And it's like, oh, this just feels, I'm not feeling authentic. It feels awkward, if that, and I don't want it to feel awkward. Has nothing to do with love or respect. It's just personal choices of how we're choosing to live. So Cynthia, I believe your request is reasonable. Let's read it. May we feminine perhaps request you make it a bit more than halfway, just in that mood. Put in the effort, like go the extra mile. You're going to have to go the extra mile. And that's going to be hard for someone who feels they don't have any energy to give. Surrender. Oh my goodness, there's all this writing and I'm just like, my eyesight's not, even with the glasses on. Guys, moderators, they're just tribes. They're not moderators, that's my tribe. When my tribe come on, they're highlighted. Okay? And what's coming through, because there's a spanner, so throwing a spanner in the works. What happens when you run out of spanners? It feels like, you know, giving every reason why it won't work. Well, let's have a look at every reason why it will work. Because you just know. It's a feeling. You're going to have to trust that. Hello, kind lady. Hello, Dion. How are you today? Hello, anyone else and everybody. And I hope we're all being kind and loving. But we have the tribe here that will help to take care of you all. Deal with you all accordingly. Whilst I get this message out. Because what I was telling you, I've got a plan, Mr. King of Cups. Because if you're down in the dumps, okay, I've got a story. I read the first chapter last night. I've read this book. It's one of the first books I read from personal development, okay? Not the first book. That was 12 Pillars by the same author, Chris Wisener, but it's with Jim Rohn wrote that book. It's a personal development book. When I was in network marketing, it was the first book that was suggested to me in 2011, January 30th of January 2011. Must have been 31st of January, last day of January. How many days are in January? 31. Okay, thank you. 2011, I went to a business, my first kind of, you know, business meeting, and I was recommended my first personal development book. Well, actually, in your startup kind of guidance, you had a list of personal development books, and I straight away was like addicted to personal development. So I just feed me with it. 12 Pillars, but this is by the same author, Chris Widener, and it's called The Angel Inside, and it inspired me to go to Florence to sit or stand myself and observe the statue of David. And I read the first chapter last night and thought I'm going to read it to you guys. So at the end of the reading, if you wish to stay, we're going to start having some story time at the end of the reading. That's what I've decided to do. And so, yeah. I might even timestamp it for those that maybe just come for the story. I mean, there's a story here unfolding, but that one's already been written. And I bet it comes in perfectly with what we're doing here. That's what I'm saying. I love the magic. I want to talk about this kind of stuff, with whoever's in my environment. It's just mystical, magical. Okay, it's raining and we're talking it's chucking it down. Well, I'm not sure if that's rain or a train. But earlier on, it was chucking it down. Anyway, we've done the Rider-Waite Tarot. Okay, Mr. King of Cups we've had from there. So let's go to the Oracle of the Fairies and we'll see what they wish to say, because they are most definitely hanging around, flying around. Okay. Purity. Always trust in the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart, and within it, you will find the answer to your question. That's where you've got to go, within. Try it. Always trust in the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart, and within it, you will find the answer to your question. Do you dare dwell so deep? Purity. And at the end of every chapter, well, it's at the end of the book, but if you kind of study the book before you read it, see the setup, at the end of every chapter, it's going to give you some questions. I suggest, if you're staying for story time at the end, grab yourself a nice cup of coffee soon, or whenever. Piece of pen and paper. Piece of pen. We're crossing T's and dotting I's. No, we do that anyway, okay. We're crossing I's and dotting T's. Grab yourself a piece of paper. It just wants to come out, a piece of pen and paper. And write down these questions, because when I've read to you the chapter, it's going to be fresh, isn't it? So rather than let's read in the whole book or more than one chapter, we're going to hit it one chapter at a time. You'll thank me, you'll thank yourself more, but you'll thank me. Okay. Unicorns are creatures of purity, and with this card, a unicorn joins the fairies to tell you that now is the time to tune into your heart. Whatever your question or situation, look into your own pure heart for the answer. Even if you doubt your ability, deep within, beyond ego and mind, a pure heart will reveal its deepest truth and wisdom. When you can fully trust the purity of your own heart's wisdom, you'll find that any challenges in life can be approached with a gentle kindness and compassion for yourself as well as for others. Perhaps you found yourself in a situation where the purity of your heart is needed to shed light on challenging circumstances. Can you hear the rain? It sounds so refreshing, doesn't it? Sometimes those close to us need our assistance. Your pure heart can help to show the way for them too. This card may also be saying that you're becoming too tied up in your thoughts, but you can transfer the purity of your heart to your mind. The mind will always present a million questions, whereas the heart will always offer a single response, that love is the answer to everything. Know that you can't, know that you can. Why did we say the word can't? Know that you can be a flawed human with a pure heart. You don't need to be a saint to do this. I want to say, but you could become a saint by doing this. I was taken to like Sandalphon and Metatron, Metatron, who ascended themselves through their work here on earth and became archangels. Cheers to the channel of lovers. I'm sure the chat's all really good. Everything's all fine, isn't it? Okay. Archangel animal cards. I got excited then. I got excited because I remembered that I've still got like the second part of Bridgerton to watch. I was thinking about that earlier. I don't know if any of yous are Bridgerton watchers or Queen Charlotte on Netflix. But this is the point, isn't it? It's like Lady Whistledown, Penelope, in love, and then this truth's going to come out, isn't it? I mean, I haven't seen the second part. I mean, he's left it. They were getting it on in the carriage. He was claiming her as his wife, but obviously he's unaware that she's Lady Whistledown. That's the kind of energy of the fakeness. Like we're being like a spiritual, you know, leading by example, a spiritual leader, guru, coach, presence, that you are. And the other person's not like, you know, fully aware of it. Is this a make or break situation? Oh, don't, but I want that pink veil that she wore on that carpet. You're right there, Gregory. Can't is not a word, but trust. But what went through my mind, you put can't is, hello, by the way. By the way. Hi. I felt like I was going back down the line. I was taking me to the ballroom scene. Are all the guys ready? Because they'll line up and I'll come and have a look at you all. Make sure you're all, well, I don't want anyone there that's, you know, flawless. You haven't got to be perfect, but you do have to be, I don't know, presentable. You're going to be able to, you haven't got to do anything. You're going to be able to present yourself correctly. And that's the divine working through you. Gregory, sorry, I'm so rude. Let's get back to what I was saying. When I saw the word can't, I was going to say there's no such word as can't. You can do whatever you want. Really, won't. You're saying that you won't do something. There's a difference. Like there's a difference if you ask somebody, could you do that? Or would you do that for me? Could you do that for me? Or would you do that for me? No, I won't. No, I can't. So then instead of the wouldn't, maybe we could do the couldn't. I mean, you shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't anyway, because you didn't. This is something about letting things go in the past. You couldn't have done anything differently because you didn't. Let it go. Someone just honked. Profoundingly twice. I just invented the word. I know. What a bloody awesome word. Hello, girl, I'm Adam. Hello. But then your title's like English, and then what's that squiggle stuff? Okay, can we have a card, please? I will report you to the police because you stole my heart. Interesting. We have the owl. It says, listen to the messages of the angels. So if that's not about going with him into your heart space, try it. Try connecting. Try listening to your intuition, the wiseness. I was going to say the wise side of you. Not like the million questions that your mind comes up with, your thoughts. They say, I believe they say that you have about 60,000 thoughts a day. What consumes those thoughts? Fantasies or fears? Let's get back to this message. Archangel Bokpi. Bokpi? Bokpi. Oh, damn. Why would we even say that word? I don't really say that word. I knocked my glasses off. But then I said damn like 3 seconds later. Damn. Bit shaky. Come now, because we've been on for nearly 30 minutes and I want to read a chapter. Does that person just keep changing the title? Why is their message coming up before like their name title, and the name title is the squiggly stuff? It looks like that, doesn't it? How does it operate? Who is this person? You're all right back to front. Hello, baby girl. How did you get up here? Hey. Hey, Belle. Okay. Owl. Owls are fifth-dimensional birds from Lacumae, the ascended aspect of Sirius. They carry the wisdom of their home star in their energy fields. They are known as wise owls because their energy enlightens people and also because they have big round eyes. Okay. Their soul mission is to hold the blueprint of the fifth-dimensional vision for our planet as we move towards the new golden age. They try to impress this onto people and animals and inspire them to raise their frequencies. Owls serve as teachers. At night, they gather together elementals in their area, like the fairies, and impart knowledge and wisdom to them to help them ascend. They are very protective of them. They also clear lower energies from their particular territory and are helped in this by cats. As I've just asked the cats, hello darling, how did you get up here, in here? I come with a message, she says. Some species of owl hoot or screech We could take that as a sign, Mariah, from the honking. Some owls hoot or screech, others growl, chirp, whistle. I heard a whistling sound outside. Or make a different sound. On one level, this is to communicate with their own kind. On another, the vibration within these sounds brings through messages and wise guidance from the angels. Okay, the guidance. This is the card of the wise teacher, and you are being advised to use your knowledge carefully. You are not just imparting information. When you communicate, the energy in your aura is raising the frequency of those you speak to and helping to enlighten them. This is a sacred mission. Start to notice how people are drawn to you and choose your words judiciously because you have more impact than you realise. Be aware that you are clearing and cleansing the energy around you. This means that you need to take extra care of yourself and rest more. Give yourself time to absorb the messages of the angels. Come on. There's going to be some really good messages in there for you. And I now know, ouch, that hurt. It kind of yanked my hair out here. And I now know how to pronounce this because, I mean, how do you pronounce that when you don't know what it is, or Italian? Oh, I've got the ancient Italian tower. We're finishing with those before we go on to this. I mean, does that say second? Gigante. So it's actual il. It means the giant. Il gigante. It's like sounds with a H. Gigante. Il gigante. Il gigante. So now that I know how to pronounce that, I'm not going to look like so much of a wally when I mispronounce my words. Il gigante, the giant. Anyway, right. Did I finish that message? I got so excited I threw my glasses over there. Oh, it's because you caught my hair. It hurt. Be nice. Thank you very much. Thank you. Are they round? I think I finished the message. Yes, give yourself time to absorb the messages of the angels. So now we move over to the Sacred Spirit reading cards, which are here. I need a little. Are you really going to sing that song? No. Okay. Does anyone, could you guess the song by that song? Changed your mind, didn't you? Do we really need any more time to think things over? I mean, we've already been told there's a million thoughts. I hear you. I never read back over the comments, so Cynthia, reach out, answer me on Messenger, will you please? And then, like, maybe on Sunday. I don't know if you're busy Sunday, otherwise we could do next week. Hello, we've got a baby in the room. These pussycats are very timid. I don't know how come you're up here. Oh my goodness, they're both up here. But you can't pick them up. The little girl, Bambi, we won't be able to pick her up. But, oh no, Leo, I'm sorry. He's ran. You're just not meant to see them yet. But we got the baby kittens upstairs. Bambi. Leo. So adorable. but you have no chance of trying to pick him up. Hey, Moon Cookie. Let me go in to see if I can just read Moon Cookie's. I nearly had him. But he's quick. They sense. I'm not sure what happened before, but they are not very trusting. They're getting there. But they cuddle up and lay with Belle. It's the best thing for Belle since Jasper made his transition. She was lonely. She loved Jasper. And then so we've got these 2 baby kittens, and she can watch them play around, and she joins in, and you find them all, well, not all laying together. Normally there's one laying with her, and then they cuddle each other, and oh, it's just a cute sight to see. Moon Cookie, cheers, darling. Cheers to the channel of love. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, Lucy Lou. What to do, boo? While I drive to go get something to eat. I'm starving. Me as well. I'm not sure what we're having to eat tonight. And there's some things that I wish to do. I like Friday nights. I'm normally quite stimulated on a Friday night, as in like housework way. I like to do a bit of housework. I like to chill out with myself with headphones in, music in. I feel quite productive, and then normally I eat crap and just spend time, you know. I don't have any crap to... I could find crap to eat. We've been having a few parties, so there's crap left over in the house. Not like... it was taking me to... You know when you ask... Well, I used to ask my mum, you know. I used to say it to my children. What's for dinner? Shit and sugar. That's coming through. Maybe one of your parents used to say that to you. Cheers. Oh, sugar. Come on, because we've still got a book to read. Hidden Realms. Card number 20. Create conscious awareness. There's a lot going on in this card book. It's just how that rain just stops like that. It's like a torrential downpour, and then it just stops. That feels a bit like the crying over the last couple of days. Once that was out, oh, okay. There's a bit of residue to get through. So, okay, just breathe through this, but all good. 20. Create conscious awareness, analyse your dream cycles. Traditionally, shamans are the gatekeepers to the hidden realms of ancient wisdom and magic. Accessing the hidden realms for further meaning and insight into a soul's pain or an individual's disease. And they've kind of separated the word, so it's when you're not at ease with yourself. Disease. Just saw a little pussycat. I'm still going to try to get him. I think it's him. Hello, boy. Come see me. Just come and be a little bit curious. Okay, he's jumped over there. You have a little sniff around. Is that your sister coming? She cries for him. She doesn't like it too much when Leo. Leo, can you come out of there, please? There's a good boy. Come here. I'm just having a look around. Using conscious communication, the shaman works to bridge the realms between humanity and creation. Communicating with the elementals, nature, animal realms, ancestors, angelic forces and spiritual beings that serve humanity as guardians, guides, teachers and masters and more is the role of the shaman. These ancient practices have been developed and refined across time, with shamans, seers, visionaries serving their communities as mediators between the human experience and the world of nature. Restoring power to those who have experienced disempowerment or physical exercise. Restoring power to those who have experienced disempowerment or physical experience. Shamanic practitioners reconnect the aspects of the soul that have been lost through trauma or life experiences. Right now you are being asked to connect excuse me. Right now you're being asked to connect to the hidden realms, expanding your consciousness, to open your mind wide and reconnect with your soul for deep healing and transformation. There is much to be learned from the hidden realms that can assist you in your waking life. Examine your dream cycles and interpret your subconscious messages. Creating conscious awareness will allow you to actively connect to your universal guardians, the elements, and celestial realm. Like any learned skill, practice will improve the strength of your connection. Pay attention to any symbols, animals, or visual images that appear in your life now, as there is deep meaning that applies to you. The shadow aspect, social disconnection, daydreaming, codependency. The angel assistance is guardian angel Celia, psychic and spiritual awakening, transformation. In your affirmation, I am a clear and successful mediator of conscious divine communication. I agree with that. Dinner's been organised. Cool. So that message is, okay, we're going to have takeout tonight. Cool. Sounds good. And shopping list has been done. That I'm going to be shown. All the food's been put for next week. That will be ordered, delivered tomorrow. So all the meals are set up for next week. Brilliant. So that's what that was. When I'm done, I will be showing the list of next week's meals. I get to add to it, adjust to it, whatever I want to. It'll be perfect. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Right, we are going to the Ancient Italian Tarot, and then we're going to read this book that's based in Italy, Florence. Beautiful place. The Ancient Italian Tarot. Okay, well, we have the Hermit. This is about you going to those, do you dare to dive deep? Because it's the Hermit energy. I don't know if there's not a little book to read with this. You can always do your research and have a look at the Hermit energy with drawing. It's like you're a little bit embarrassed. I can see a bit of flushed cheek there. It's okay. Take your sandals off and ground yourself. It was taken to the energy of being flippy floppy, wishy washy. It's wishy washy energy. Okay. Well, let's help you out by reading the angel inside. So 4404 is going to be the timestamp for the starting of this book. Thank you for joining me for that reading. That was that reading. Now I'm moving over to this reading, which you'll enjoy. I will read from the beginning though. Someone's taken the time to write this. We can at least show the respect to read it. The Angel Inside, Michelangelo Il Gigante, and Creating a Life of Power and Beauty by Chris Widener. I'm not reading that part. Foreword. I first heard Chris Widener's name in 1999. An article he had written came across my email. I read scores of personal development e-zines, and this new author impressed me. Over the course of the next few years, I would read every Chris Wisener article that came my way. He definitely had me intrigued by his style and message. There was something about Chris's writing that reminded me of Jim Rohn. Not the same style, but the same simple, to the point, profound communication of timeless truths that help people lead successful lives. Week after week, his articles came out on a variety of personal development and success topics. I came to believe that Chris was certainly one of the most prolific writers in the marketplace. Because of Chris's ability to wield an unceasing pen, I contacted him in 2002 about helping Jim Rohn International develop our upcoming Jim Rohn 1 Year Success Plan. After meeting Chris, we agreed that he would become our featured contributing editor, as well as host our monthly conference calls that would feature Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy and other legends. And they are legends in the field of network marketing. Okay, personal development, which is what network marketing is. It's a personal development program. Okay. With Chris's great writing skills and his talent for engaging conversation on the conference calls, the Jim Rohn 1 Year Success Plan has become one of the most successful products we have ever created. I knew that we were onto something, or rather someone. I truly believe, as Jim does, that Chris Wisener is the leader of a new generation of personal development experts. When Chris first printed The Angel Inside, he sent copies to all of the staff at JRI as gifts. What happened next amazed me. We receive hundreds of books for review at our office, but this little book burned like wildfire through our organisation. People were reading and rereading it. They were reading it to their children, which is what I done with 12 Pillars and this book. They were reading it to their children and loaning it to their friends. Chris found that people who ordered the book would read it and then come back and order up to 50 copies to give to their friends. It is that kind of book. Like the classic books of the great Og Mandino, The Angel Inside is a fable that expounds the truths of life woven into the context of a beautiful story. The Angel Inside is wonderfully written and brings many descriptive words to mind. Profound, simple, unique, captivating, compelling, refreshing, and inspiring, to name a few. The Angel Inside is a book you can and probably will read cover to cover. It illustrates the power that each individual has within themselves to become great and live their dreams. It will encourage you to look inward and find the person of power and beauty that is waiting to be set free to make a difference in the world. I am convinced that you will be as impressed as my staff and I were. That is why JRI is publishing this special edition of The Angel Inside. We want it to be a book that will affect your life in a powerful way, and we believe that it will. So find a quiet place and delve into this enlightening story of a young man whose life is changed forever when he meets a man, his new mentor, on the streets of Florence, Italy. Let your heart soar as you learn the lessons that were true 500 years ago and are just as true today as they were then. We know that you will be glad you've met Chris Wisener and that you'll be impacted by the story he tells through this powerful book, The Angel Inside. Enjoy. Kyle Wilson, President, Jim Rohn International, and yoursuccessstore.com. And then we have the contents. We'll see what signs and synchronicities we can pick up from the first portion of what we call a reading. A different style of reading now. Okay, so discover the life-changing principles of the angel inside. Contents. Okay, chapter 1, finding the angel inside of you. Chapter 2, the power of following your own passion. Chapter 3, being confident in your strength. Chapter 4, beauty through details. Chapter 5, your hand creates what your mind conceives. Chapter 6, the importance of planning and preparation. Chapter 7, all accomplishment starts with one swift action. Chapter 8, embracing the stages of chipping, sculpting, sanding and polishing. Chapter 9, being content. Sometimes success takes years. Chapter 10, no one starts with the Sistine Chapel. Chapter 11, discussion guide and workbook, which I will pick apart after each chapter. Okay, are you ready? Chapter 1, finding the angel inside of you. Every person has this tremendous capacity to be both king and warrior, a person of value and a person of accomplishment, of beauty and power. Here's a little quote. It's under the heading. Okay. Tom Cook had come to Europe looking for direction, but he was reluctantly coming to the conclusion that it may have evaded his grasp. Sounds a bit like this masculine here. I'll point them out. Feeling frustrated, he had planned a 2-week getaway vacation that he hoped would clear his head and give him the opportunity to do some soul searching. Ultimately, he was hoping that his time away from the US would relieve the pressure he felt at home and allow him to make some thoughtful decisions about his future. He had already been to England, France and Spain, but had yet to come to any clarity about himself. He was still confused as the day he flew out of JFK. Today, he found himself in Florence, Italy, the last city on his itinerary, and his time there was almost gone. But then, something happened. Florence, Firenze, romance, art, food and wine. Most who go there live an emotional high as they take in the almost overwhelming beauty of the scenery. The class of the world is held in its museums. Some of the most famous, creative and influential names in history were born here and made their lives here. It is, in all of its glory, a cultural hub of history and art beyond comparison. One would imagine it would be perfect. One would imagine it would be the perfect place to find direction, joy and inspiration. About 12:45 in the afternoon, Tom was sitting on a bench in a bustling plaza. He was tired of travelling, tired of walking, tired of life, tired of striving, just tired. As he sat with his heavy backpack on the ground below him, Tom watched a vast sea of people coming and going, running around just as he does back home. Some of the people seemed happy, others looked like they were in a frenzy to be somewhere, while still others walked along with their love, gazing at each other. But all Tom saw was a sea of people that brought more questions than answers. Where are they going? What do they look forward to? Are they really happy? He hated to admit it, but he was a cynic at 30. He certainly wasn't happy and couldn't imagine that anyone else could be either. Life didn't work that way, it seemed. As he sat, His head slowly drifted downward into his hands as he lost eye contact with the crowd around him. He was among many, but was somehow still alone. Then, just as he was about to launch into a mental pity party, a voice spoke. My, you look much too young and handsome to be sad of heart, the voice said. Tom looked up barely to see the one who had interrupted his self-loathing. It was an old man. Out of courtesy, he slowly leaned back up, still not saying anything. His eyes locked onto the old man, surveying his new acquaintance. The old man was somewhat of a contrast. On one hand, he looked rough. On the other hand, he had an elegant air. He was old, that was for sure. 70 maybe, 75. He had dark brown hair and a beard that covered a craggy face. The old man was ready for a trip to the barber. Minimum height, thin, but with large biceps and pillar-like forearms. They seemed out of place on the old man's body. He had a blue-collar look about him. But the old man's clothes revealed the taste of a connoisseur. You could tell he wasn't buying off the rack at the corner store. This was a man who knew a tailor or two. An expensive beret topped his head, and his brown hair peeked out from underneath with a flare. He wore a beautifully patterned silk shirt flowing down around the top of natty slacks. Of course, this was Italy, so his leather shoes were impeccable. The old man spoke again. Yes, you are sad, I can tell. He didn't ask permission before he sat down next to Tom. Tom couldn't believe this was happening. He was just getting used to being alone and depressed. But I can also see that you certainly have much to be happy about. Tell me, what is your name? Tom. Tom? Thomas? Yes, Thomas. Ah, yes, I see. Like the doubter. The old man grinned. You are doubting, aren't you? Doubting Thomas. What are you doubting, Thomas? Thomas thought to himself, what am I doubting? This is crazy. I have a crazy Italian sitting next to me. Finally, he said, well, I appreciate your concern, but I'm not really doubting anything. Pardon me, Thomas. I know you must find this intrusive, but I have intuition for these kinds of things. I have been around now forever, it seems. Yes, a very long time. I have seen much. I see that you are doubting, but perhaps you do not like that word. Well then, what is it that burdens you this day, Thomas? What could it hurt? Nothing could get worse than it was. Well, let's see. I just turned 30 years old. I'm broke. I am nowhere near where I want to be in my career. My girlfriend just dumped me because I don't have any upside, as she calls it. My boss thinks I have zero career potential. Even my parents wonder when I'm going to begin to make something of myself. Frankly, I'm beginning to believe I'm useless. A young couple walked by and asked the old man if he would take their picture. He obliged, and they quickly posed for him with touristy grins. When he was finished, he returned their camera and they bounded down the street, laughing giddily. The old man turned back to Thomas. Useless? I see, said the old man. That does sound disheartening. I can see why you would be sad, even in this beautiful city. Most people here, especially the tourists, are happy. He paused and then asked, how long have you been in Florence? This is my 3rd day. 3 days? That is wonderful. When do you depart? Tomorrow morning at 6:30. Oh, not much time left then. The old man asked, have you taken in any of the artworks of interest? Yes, Tom replied. I breezed through them. What would a trip to Florence be without seeing the art, right? You make a very good point, young Thomas. I myself think that the art is the most important reason to come to Florence. I assume then that you saw Michelangelo's work, the David, Il Gigante, as they call it, the giant. Yeah, sure. That's one of the biggies, right? No pun intended. Yes, it is. The biggest, in my opinion. And tell me, Thomas, what did you learn from the David? Learn? I didn't learn anything. I saw it. He was huge, naked. It was great. I left. Oh my, you didn't learn anything from Il Gigante? The old man looked at his watch. It is 1 o'clock. Come now. We haven't much time. The old man began to stand as he said this. Thomas looked up. Come where? For what? He was perfectly happy sitting right where he was. Now the old wannabe sage wanted to drag him off on an unscheduled tour. To go see Il Gigante, of course. There is so much to learn from him and from Michelangelo. Come, you will see. Okay, this is crazy, but the old man has an endearing quality. He was harmless. What else would he do for the rest of the afternoon other than watch birds land on the heads of statues? Tom stood up and grabbed his backpack as he did. Okay, I'm game. Let's go. The old man beamed broadly. Fantastic, Thomas. He put one arm around Tom and then said something that sank deeply into Tom. This day will forever change your life. With this, they began their journey to the foot of Il Gigante in the Galleria dell'Accademia. They made their way through the city, walking at a pace Tom would describe as fast. This old guy can really move. Excuse me, can we slow down a bit? This backpack is kind of heavy. The old man barely turned back as he said, Of course, pardon me. I'm just excited to have you see Il Gigante again. Yet his pace slowed down very little. Down the street, across a bridge, a right turn and then a left. Tom hadn't thought it was so far. The old man took him through an open market where he paused just long enough to buy some bread from a merchant he obviously knew. He broke it in half and handed a piece to Tom. Enjoy, he said as he headed off again. Tom wished he could stay and bask in the aroma of the baked goods. That had been his favourite part of Florence, the aroma of the wine, the cheese, the bread and the fruit. I should have eaten a bigger lunch. Every now and then the old man would say hello to someone or pat someone on the back as they went by. A friendly fellow. Finally, they arrived at the Galleria dell'Accademia. Tom had been here a few days ago. As he had mentioned to the old man, he had come because that's what tourists do when they come to Florence. They look in awe at the David. Somehow, it hadn't struck him as awesome when he had come before. This time was different though. It seemed a little otherworldly. It was a strange feeling. This time, he noticed the soaring ceiling, the beauty of the room, and the sound of the hollowness of the space. People didn't speak much in the presence of the David. Along the walls were some benches. The old man took Tom by the arm and guided him to an empty one. Here now, let us sit on this bench. The old man motioned for Tom to sit down, almost directly, in front of David. They both sat down, the old man to the right of Tom. They just looked at it for a moment. Then the old man said, with a sense of wonder, Isn't it beautiful? Just grand. It's big, that's for sure. Yes, it is the giant, 13.5 feet tall. It took Michelangelo 28 months to sculpt him from beginning to end. They sat silently. Tom thought that the old man sure seemed to be enjoying himself. He was looking at the statue like a proud father. It seemed kind of weird to Tom. Tom thought to himself, well, we're in the classroom. I wonder when class begins. After what seems like an eternity, the old man said, Thomas, do you wonder why I brought you here? Sure, the thoughts crossed my mind. I mean, David is great and all, and I know Michelangelo was one of the greatest artists of all time, but what does that have to do with me? Very good question, Thomas. I have an answer. But first, another question. What do you know about Michelangelo? Well, let's see. He was Italian. The old man laughed. Yes, that he was. Other than that, he lived in the late 1400s and early 1500s. Yes, he died in 1564. It is more accurate to say the mid 1500s. What else? He was an incredible artist. Not sure what's going on with the words here. He was an incredible artist who painted and sculpted. That's correct. Do you know what he painted and sculpted? All I know is the David and the Sistine Chapel, right? Yes, those two, as well as many others. Is there anything else you know about Michelangelo and Il Gigante? Nope, that about covers it. I see. He paused to think. Then we are ready to begin. All right. Tom could hardly imagine how this was going to go. Let us start with a story. One day, Michelangelo was working on this marble that would become David, and a young child came by where he was working. The young boy asked Michelangelo why he was working so hard hitting the rock. Michelangelo said to him, young boy, there is an angel inside of this rock, and I am setting him free. He let the story sink in. Do you see the point of that story, Thomas? Tom looked at the David and thought. After running the possibilities through his mind, he said, I would guess that he meant that he was trying to make something beautiful out of the marble. You are on the right track, Thomas, but there is more. How so? Let me explain. In essence, you are correct, but there is more to it than meets the eye. Things specific to you, things that will mean something for you, for everyone, really. I'm all ears. Thomas, what do those who are closest to you think of you? I think they like me. He then corrected himself. They love me, but... Tom drifted off and looked away. Yes, the old man probed. They don't think much of what I have done with my life, or what I'm doing, or for that matter, what I'm capable of. They think of me as your basic loser, I guess. That must be painful, yes? Yes. It was quite painful, in fact. Tom hadn't expected to get psychoanalyzed. Let me give you the history of that big piece of marble. That marble was originally cut for work before Michelangelo was even born. In fact, it was commissioned to Agostino di Cusio in 1464, 11 years before Michelangelo would come into this world. But eventually, Agostino could not decide what to do with it, so he gave up the commission. Then, in 1476, when Michelangelo was just 1 year old, another artist by the name of Antonio Rossellino was commissioned to work with the marble. As with Agostino, he could not see what the marble could become. Even Leonardo da Vinci was asked to consider working the marble. He declined for 2 reasons. First, he thought sculpting was a low form of art. He was arrogant that way. Brilliant, but arrogant. The old man rolled his eyes as if disgusted. Second, he too could not see what that marble could become. 3 artists, one of them one of the most famous ever, came before Michelangelo and could not see what that marble held deep inside. But Michelangelo, he saw an angel deep at rest within the rock, waiting to be set free to inspire Florence and the world. Thomas, do you see what I'm trying to teach you? Sort of. Tell me more and I'll get it. Now Tom was leaning towards the statue, elbows on his knees, his chin in his hands. Thomas, there is an angel inside of you. There is a person of beauty. There is a person of power. David represented both. If you remember, the real David, the one-time king of Israel, was a very diverse fellow. Not many men have interests that broadly range from writing poetry and playing the harp to slaying giants and going to war. David, both the statue and the man, was both beautiful and powerful. There is a lesson there for all humans. We all have a beauty to us. We are valuable just for who we are, but we are also capable of tremendous power. We can become people of great accomplishment. We can face the giants in our lives, even as David did, and win. The old man looked at Tom to see if he was getting it. He was. Keep going, Tom said. Think of the rejection of that marble. David lay there since the beginning of time. Many people looked at it and saw nothing. Nothing, no potential. The marble was cut too thin, many people said. But Michelangelo had the vision for what it could become. The old man began to turn the corner on the idea. Do you know much about the story of the real David, Thomas? Less than I know about Michelangelo, Tom grinned. This is okay. You will learn today, and it will change your life forever. There was a prophet named Samuel. God himself told Samuel that he would find the next king in the home of a man named Jesse. So Samuel went to Jesse and told him this. Then he asked Jesse to allow him to see his sons. Jesse promptly called them together and lined them up. One by one, Samuel went down the line, disqualifying each son. When he got to the end, he was a bit confused. He asked if there were any other sons. Jesse said there was one other, but it couldn't possibly be him. He was a shepherd, a tender of sheep. He was a shepherd, a tender of sheep. Samuel asked Jesse for his name. Jesse's answer, David. Jesse sent for David, and he was brought before Samuel. Samuel knew immediately that this was the next king. Jesse couldn't believe it, and his brothers didn't want to. To explain this to Jesse, Samuel spoke a profound truth. Man looks on the outside, but God, he looks on the inside. Wow, was all Tom could say. Yes, this is incredible, Thomas. This is the first truth that you must realise in becoming the person you desire to become. No matter what is on the outside, no matter what your life looks like now, there is an angel that lies dormant within you. Every person has this tremendous capacity to be both king and warrior, a person of value and a person of accomplishment, of beauty and power. When you understand this, when you embrace it and come to truly believe it, it will change your life forever. your entire destiny will open before you. I get it in concept, but how do I believe it? I mean, there are no signs of it anywhere in my life. Thomas, you do not look far enough. Your eyes must search for this deep within. Sometimes you must dwell on this truth for quite some time, every day, reminding yourself of it, and then one day it becomes yours. You finally believe it. But there is a way to foster this belief. Let me ask you, what are you good at? Everyone has something that they are good at. When you know this, it is a primary indicator of what your angel will look like. Believe it or not, I am pretty creative. I have just never pursued it much. Very good then, you are a creator. This is a beautiful gift that you have. How do you use this in your work, Thomas? That's the point, I don't. I got my MBA, Masters of Business Administration, and went to work for a Fortune 500 company in their mergers and acquisitions department. I crunch numbers and evaluate business plans. Then I hand it up the pipe to people who make the decisions. I'm a cog in the wheel of commerce. Tom leaned back, looked up, and sighed a sigh of desperation or resignation. Tell me, how did you end up in this business? Take a guess. My dad. He is the CEO of a major corporation, makes a few $1 million a year, and flies in the corporate jet. He pushed me into it. It seems like from the 3rd grade I was being told, Tom, this world isn't going to hand you anything. You have to take whatever you want. The way to get what you want is to make money. And the way to make money is in business. Tom, here is the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rules. And so you pursued money? I pursued money less than I pursued business, because that is what my dad wanted. I thought it would make him happy and proud of me. Thomas, I do not know you, yet I know many young people like you. You have yet to see what angel resides inside of you. The outer shell has yet to come off, so that you and the world can see what beauty lies beneath. You have yet to fully display your inner value and worth. Before you can do so, you must commit to the principle and begin your search for the angel inside of you. Tom sat silently, trying to internalize the truths the old man was speaking about. In theory, he believed it, but he just couldn't see it in his own life. He had spent so many years trying to make the outside what others would like to see, that he wondered if he would ever be able to find the true self that was below the surface. After a few moments, the old man spoke. You will not find clarity about this in one afternoon, Thomas. Yet I tell you, so that the seed of this thought can be planted inside of you, and in time it will grow to become a driving force in your life. Now you have learned the first lesson. No matter what others may say, there is an angel inside of you, waiting to be set free. In time, you will find that angel and let him soar. I wish my dad could hear that, Tom said. So that's the end of chapter 1, but let's go to the back where we have a Angel Inside discussion guide and workbook. Chapter 11. So find the angel inside you was the name of the first chapter. Let's just repeat the little quote. Finding the angel inside of you. Every person has this tremendous capacity to be both king and warrior, a person of value and a person of accomplishment, of beauty and power. And to remind yourself, all you have to think about is David, the king and the statue. Okay, so, Angel Inside discussion guide and workbook. Find the angel inside of you. What do you think about the concept of the angel inside? Write these down, guys. What do you think about the concept of the angel inside? How do you feel about the concept of the angel inside? So how do you feel about the concept of the angel inside? In what ways have you felt hidden beneath the marble? In what ways have you felt hidden beneath the marble? Have you ever felt like others just can't see the real you? Have you ever felt like others just can't see the real you? In what areas of strength can you begin to live out that will reveal the angel within? In what areas of strength can you begin to live out that will reveal the angel within? I'll hold up these as pages 112 and 113. I'll hold up these so that you can pause and have a look. Even if you feel you don't want to answer those at the moment, allow this to digest. You might want to at some point. So there's those questions. I'm hoping you can see them. And then you've got some just here. One. And then when we next come together, I will read the next chapter. Cynthia, I'm not good when I feel like the answer needs to... Yeah, so hopefully that helped then, darling. I mean, if there was a way, it'd be awesome if I could... Well, I could hold up the pages, and then you could obviously pause at the end and read it for yourself. It's just if I've got it like... Well, how am I going... I'm not going to be able to do it this way. So, I'll hold up the pages. We'll do it now. Because I personally would like to reread it. It's good stuff. Yeah, you can screenshot. So, tell me if this works. If I hold this up. Does that work there? Cynthia, give me a thumbs up if that one works, and I'll just quickly show you all the pages. It's not an issue. I don't think it's back to front. It's back to front for me now, but when we watch back, it's never back to front. And I'm hoping... I don't really need to hold it up for so long because you're screenshotting. You know what song I'm singing? I'll drink my whiskey neat, my coffee black and my bed blue. You're too sweet for me. I'm hoping that all these has come up okay, because I was distracted with singing in my head. Oh, take my whiskey. I think there's about 21 pages, maybe not that much. Is that something? Take out. Gonna go and have dinner. Cynthia, if there's any, you can always ask me for page numbers if you have any that are not great. I'm going to try and read a chapter a night before I go to sleep. It prepares me for kind of the tone of the book and, well, to some degree. No, when you're not sure kind of the tone of the voice or whether you find out that that was exclaimed like after you've read the sentence and you've read it quite quietly, you know. I'm not sure I've lost track of it all good. Can you hear the crows crowing outside? Oh, it's a bit more than 21 pages. On page like, oh, whoops, sorry about that. Behave, come on now. I'm hoping that you can zoom in on these. I mean, you haven't got to take screenshots, guys. I'm sure if you can pause the video and when it plays back, you can zoom in. Oh, was that one? I'm going to trust that it was okay. We're getting there. I would do it on the community post, but I think you only can upload like 4 photos, 5 photos at a time. That's going to be a ball night, isn't it? I mean, you've already had the questions, so that's cool. But thank you for your patience. Well, 87 minutes. It's okay. It's good, because it's good, isn't it, to read, learn, digest. Okay, so next is chapter 2, The Power of Following Your Own Passion. I'll leave us with the quote to get us all ready for next time. There will be a next time. It's not, will there be a next time? There'll be a next time. Okay. There comes a time in every person's life when they must decide whether they will follow what they want for their life or what someone else wants for their life. There comes a time in every person's life when they must decide whether they follow what they want for their life or what someone else wants for their life. Just realised Tom didn't ask the old man's name, did he? Just called the old man. This is the old man talking to Tom. I mean, come on. We can now have a look at the cards. Hidden Realms. Create conscious awareness. Listen to the messages of the angels. Always trust in the purity of your heart. Look inside your heart, and within it you will find the answer to your question. Just a crazy Italian. Okay. That's all good, isn't it? It's all good. Okay. Oh, I pressed the 20% mark button a while ago. We'll talk soon. I'm hoping that that was worthwhile. It was worthwhile for me. I read that last night. Oh, I read that last night and I read it aloud to myself. So I laid in bed and I read it out loud. And then I've read it to you and then I've shown you the words. So it's all good, isn't it? It's all good. Guys, I love you all dearly. Thank you for joining me. Much love, Cynthia. Sweetie, will you answer me on Messenger, please, honey? And just to let me know that we're okay. To chat at some point. It will be Sunday time, I imagine, or next week. But I'll message you before. I'm not just going to ring you. Thank you. All right. Take care. Much love. Take care of you. Bye for now.